Puta caralho.
Hi guys, and welcome. Welcome to the episode 4. So the second week of actually making something. Today is Monday. First off, why do I have the rings here? I did 3 small rings and 2 big rings. So for men. Yeah, why didn't I already gave it to them? Well, I had already a little bit the feeling in my stomach that it's still not finished, even though when the ring was finished, it was polished and everything. I didn't quite feel like that. So what I can now see is, because copper is copper, and there is a saying that if you wear something from copper and it is not sealed, then you will get a green finger. I do not want that. If I want to sell something, it should be quality, and even though maybe it's not perfect, it should not give a green finger. Some people sweat a lot. For example, here in Portugal, it's very hot, so the people are naturally sweating a lot. I do not want that a customer comes to me and says, look what you did to me. So look, this copper. And some people are allergic to copper. These 5 rings are not sealed. That's a problem? Yes. But what I have now planned is to take a little bit a different road and make something that I can do now. Taking the ring in the resin and soaking it completely into the resin so it has a complete clear coat or protection from the resin. That is my plan to do the rings. So we are getting into a new ring, so copper, gray wood, and I have epoxy resin pigment. So these are bottles with different colors to color up the resin. It would be pretty nice to color up the resin. I would do that for inner inlay for the ring, and that's why I have this one, powder, glitter, a lot of them. So the inlay is a different color, has glitter, and this would be for myself now the go to do such a ring.
So what I will need to do first is take the gray wood veneer, measure it. I will do that for my wife. I will take the width of the ring will be 6 millimeters, so I will take about 1 centimeter of veneered wood. So now I have the stripe 1 centimeter thick. I will go down, I will cook the water up, boil the water, then I will bend that, let it bend, then let it sit in the oven, get all the moisture out to be dry. I'm back, and that is what I have got. The veneered wood that is bent, the size that it should be dried out as well. That took about 20 minutes, so 5 minutes in water or soaking it in, maybe a little bit less, like 2 or 3 minutes if the water is really hot. Yeah, exactly. And the size that I have got for my wife's finger, including the millimeters that need to be because of the resin, is 58 millimeters. So the size Q. So first off, we will need to cut the copper and 6 millimeter width with a pipe cutter. I will measure it. First off, to sand the sides and the inside, and then go to stretch the copper. I have setted it down, and now I will use a Bunsenbrenner and the ring mandrel to make that bigger. One more thing, if you don't want to damage the rings, to not get cracks in the metal, I would go first off with the Bunsenbrenner, so it will also get easier on the ring mandrel and get also easier to get bigger. Much easier, I can tell you that. So yeah, if you doing this inside, be very careful. If you go with the route, first off with fire inside, and second of all, if this is getting glowing red, please have water in the near and take gloves. Please be careful if you're doing anything with fire inside. Have water, have something that is safe enough to distinguish a fire. I do not take responsibility if you do that. Puta caralho. This is exactly what I meant, so I was very uncareful, and I don't know if you can see that on here on the finger, but when I tried to pick the emboss up, and the emboss was very hot, and I should have put it in the water, cooked off, but I didn't. I missed it. I wanted to pick it up to help, but yeah, and that with the hand without gloves. And that's why shit happens like that if you're not careful enough. So yeah, we have the ring on that, on the mandrel, and now it's time to size it to the right size. It is between Q and R. I don't know if I like that. The next step is to polish the outside, polish the inside, and to get an even flat surface on the sides. The sides I will prep with normal sandpaper, just grind it till it's smooth. The rest I will do with the chuck and the lathe. I forgot to mention, if you're going to size it with the ring mandrel, please be careful, because on one side I have 59 millimeters and measure it on the other side, I get a maximum of 58, so 1 millimeter difference, and that is a lot. And you will get uneven surfaces, uneven sides, and when you want to polish it and grind it and even get it on the chuck, it will not spin perfect. It will always have like not flat surfaces. You can prevent that if you check before you are finished with the sizing. Check it if you have both sizes on the right size that you want. So on both sides I will need, in this case, 59 millimeters, because my bigger size is 59, so I will need to go on 59. So we can go to sand. I finished the sides with the sanding pad, and now I'm going to the machine. Now I have all sides clear. Now I'm going right near and bring for the glue up. I'm going to sand the outer layer, the inner side, so it is flattened out with the other wind. So I finished both sides. Now we are going to glue that. So here on the end did it right, then it will be pretty flat here. And one thing that I didn't mention is always keep it under pressure. Should not be a gap anywhere. So after about 5 minutes I will let the freshly glued side be on the top, and we'll just set the side for about 1 hour. So yeah, it's not so often of this video. I will put on the ring onto the chuck and then trim out the sides to the copper. So I have finished the side now you can see all sides are shiny. You would see immediately if CA glue is on the copper. If one little spot is not shiny, then you know, okay, it's probably CA glue, and then you will need to a little bit aggressively sand it down. But if you did all that, then your sides should look shiny like that. Now we have both shiny sides. What we will do next is we will cut to the middle, make a little space in between the two sides. You need to be really careful because this ring is already really thin, as you can see. Now I have a really deep carving in the middle. I'm going to mix the UV resin with the pigmentation and the glitter that is going inside of the carving. Make sure before you do something like that to get rid of any debris or dust that is inside through the carving and sanding. I will take that. So first take just one drop of that, maybe two. Mix that up. Come on. It is like that, and I don't know if you can see that. So that looks cool. Mix it up. See how that looks. This right now, I know you can't really see anything in the camera, so I'm not showing as much. So, one thing, if you are going to do something like that, you don't need as much as anything. So I needed just a few drops like this on the ring. So guys, I'm very excited to show you that. Here it is. So this is it. And I'm very excited now because we just need to get it sanded, get it really fine sanded, and then do the same thing just with the UV resin, and then the ring is more or less finished. So like always, nothing can go perfect, so I need to patch up some spots because the wood was too wet when I sanded it. Man.
Digga, so gut, Digga. Und dann das hier.
And if you have mistakes, you're like me. I've just needed to remove the resin that is in there. So I have it here. Be careful when you sand it, and especially if you sand it with water, be careful, because that is the issue that I had. Because I used water, the wood came up, so that the resin came. So what I will do now is first off do a little coat around it, and then do a second coat that is on the top. I have repeated all the steps again, and it is polished with 12,000 sanding pad, with the 12,000 sanding pad at the outside and the inside. It's polished perfectly. I have just attached the ring with the steel rod wire, I would say, and it is holding pretty well. So I think this time it will be great to work with. I have finished the ring. I will show you the end photos of the ring, but it is polished, it is resined. I do not know if I like the resin all over the copper. I'm very proud of the end result, especially for the first ring, this kind. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you next time.